will be given for us by Dr. Maggie Bishay. May God bless her service, and may God give us to be good listeners and to hear and act.
That up. Hi, everybody. I really didn't have that much time to prepare for this. Sorry. I didn't have that much time to prepare, and I also wanted to say that I'm going to be going through some stuff a lot of you guys already know, but I just thought about it, and sometimes the messages that we're trying to give our kids gets missed. So I thought about it, and I came up with it. Well, I had some books I was looking through, and anybody wants to use any of my books, you're welcome to. And I just kind of came up with a little idea that maybe we could use. First of all, how many of you guys could imagine when kids are going to Sunday school? Could they all walk? Are they all running to Sunday school? Right? Now, thank you. A lot of times kids are going to Sunday school looking like this, right? Or they're being Sunday school teachers walking and the kids walking behind them. What we call dead man walking, right? They're just like, ugh. Or their friends are hiding and they know their friends are hiding, so they're looking at them like busted. Or better yet, when the mom or dad take you to Sunday school, right? And then they look at each other and they're like, ha, busted kid. So this is what we don't want. But I'm speaking from total experience. My kids are here, but I'm going to confess, I was one of these kids. My Sunday school teachers, every time they saw me, they would be running to the other end, right? So our goal is really to, is that better? Okay. Our goal is to have kids like this when it comes to Sunday school, okay? We want the kids to be excited. We want the kids to go to Sunday school. We want the kids to actually be in Sunday school. So when I thought about this topic, I came up with the acronym of CARE. CARE basically means the content, the action, the relationship, and the experience. Right? So I'm just going to, this is really brief, but I'm not going to do all the talking. I need you guys to participate, please. All right. So, what does content mean? Don't read. Stop it. What does content mean? Thank you. Isn't that hard? The content basically is the lesson we're teaching. Now, the whole entire thing is, yes, they're biblical information we're trying to give the kids. It's not only the content, it's also the context of what we're teaching. Right? What are we teaching them? Unfortunately, if you think back of all of us, we all learned the same story since we were able to sit. And guess what? Some kids are so lucky that they get the same Sunday school teacher throughout the years. Right? They're hearing the same story, same teacher, same thing. So could you imagine? We're going to go back to that kid sleeping on the desk, right? So we need to try something different. So the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what am I trying to teach them? What lesson do I want to give these kids? That's just basically it. Ask yourself, what lesson do I want to give the kids? So, I'm going to help you aim for the bullseye. So, what you need to do is when you're sitting and trying to figure out, now I'm going to be honest, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to teach tomorrow. Or in the car, oh my gosh, it's my lesson today. So I'm thinking of a lesson really quick to say that I've given the Sunday school lesson. All right, don't shake your head at me, because he shakes his head at me all the time. But what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, what do I want the kids to know, feel, and do with my lesson? That's just basically it. What do you want them to do with the words you're going to give them? Are you going to give them the same words because we're comfortable with it? Sometimes. Right? Because that's what we're comfortable with. So we give them what we're comfortable with. And so we're expecting them to be uncomfortable by doing things outside the box for them, right? But yet we're teaching them stuff that's within the box for us. Does that make sense? Right? Could anybody give me examples? I can sit in silence. No problem with that. Anybody? Where you found it difficult to give content or to get the message across? Right, it's historical information. So you get in and it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, done. And everybody off they go, right? A lot of times. And it's not because we haven't put in the effort, or it's not because we haven't sent in the message. It's because a lot of times we need to be uncomfortable with what it is we're giving, because that means we have to learn it ourselves. Okay? Once I begin to see glazed eyes, I'm going to stop talking. Okay. Action. Now, that's the next stage. Now that you've got your lesson, you got everything going, right? You got it all set, and it's going to be memorable, it's going to be powerful, it's going to be, oh, I can't believe I did it, it's going to be so effective. So here you are, you've got all your information, and you're ready to give your information. Right? You start giving your treasures, but you're giving it in the same way. So it turns into a long monologue where the kids are just looking at you like, please, we got it. Or they give you the cookie cutter answer. We all had the cookie cutter answer. What's the cookie cutter answer? Read the Bible. Jesus, pray, fast. God is love. Right, confession, right? We got it. We got it all. So we can go really quick. The kids will give us exactly what we need. But when they start doing that, that's when we begin to say, okay, time to take some action. Time to step outside the box. Now, okay. Sorry, yell at anybody. Okay. Now think about it. What is the lesson? What is going to make this lesson stand out? Right? A lot of times, kids don't, or youth, they don't want talked to. They want talked with. Okay. So how you do that is basically various ways of doing it. Plays. You give the kids, you can actually spend time, you make some plays for them, skits where they can do it together, right? Or you can have games for them. You can have outings for them, the experience. So if you're talking about giving, you could sit here and give, I could talk to you about giving for the next 3 hours. Is that going to do anything other than give you a headache, right? The only way you could probably teach the kids to give is to actually have them act it out. Going to a place to give, serve people, the poor, right? Collecting their allowances to support someone. Little things that are little tiny actions. Those actions will lead to a change in their lives, but they have to experience it. Just sitting and talking to people isn't going to work. Kind of like what I'm doing. Okay. Now, think of a class or a teacher that had a huge impact on you. Got it in your head? Okay, why don't you share? Why does somebody tell me about a lesson? Yes, David. He put his hand up. So, what is the one class that you have had or teacher that you remember? It doesn't have to be Sunday school. Anybody? Savannah? Oh.
With my Sunday school teacher, it was for middle school, and she used to go to the Mav Irini every other Tuesday, and she'd come back with a lot of stories about miracles, saints. She wasn't a very good lesson giver. Like, she wouldn't be able to talk a lot and explain things a lot, but we were always looking forward to that last piece of the lesson where we hear stories of the saints. So every week we actually built up a list of saints who became our friends. And that relationship that we had with her that took over until I got married, she came to my wedding. That's how the relationship. Same thing with the nun that was teaching me from 1st to 6th grade. We still had that relationship going. Also came to my wedding.
But her lectures, do you remember her lectures?
No.
Not a word, huh?
No. I just remember the experience of having that saint. I'm waiting for that saint story at the end of the lesson because she was very passionate about it. And she always related it, and then whenever she visited Tama Virini, she would come back with a lot of other stories. So she was living in that, and we felt that, and we had that connection with her, and we were friends.
Exactly. Anybody else? Thank you. Anybody else? What do you?
Yeah, I had a teacher at school, and he was an Irish Catholic father. And he was very tough, but you can tell that he loved us. So as much as he was tough, and he exercised a lot of discipline, but yet you can tell he loves us.
Right.
So we respected his love.
Right. Because he showed you the love, right? Shadeen?
Anytime. I had a Sunday school servant that she was good in listening, anytime. Whether we were in a retreat, or even if I call her and say, I need you, I'm going to come to you at home, I was always welcome, and she never made me feel like I'm intruding her life.
Right. So lectured is good. Lectured alone, not good. So just remember that when you're preparing for your lesson. Pure lecture, unless you're in a classroom where you have to pass the grade and you're going to have to focus whether you like it or not, it's going to be difficult. Okay? Sunday schools is supposed to give the children, yes, the academics that they need to grow, but it's supposed to be a nourishment. It's a food for them. Your words are the food. How you present it is how they're going to digest it. Make sense? Right? How you're going to give it to them is going to be, if you put a little salt on it, if you put a little seasoning on it, they're going to take that food in, and it's going to stay in. We're going to get a little bit more further into that. Anyone else want to share? Oh, I'll share. When I was in Sunday school, you asked my Sunday school teachers? Oh yeah, they remember me, because I was all over the place, right? But yet I was never reprimanded harshly, okay? They always took me under their wing, and we talked. Obviously, if I was acting out for something, it was I needed to say something, or something was bothering me. And having a perceptive Sunday school teacher pick up on that is vital, okay? Sit and talk to your kids, great. Be friends, great. But you also have to have the ears, right? And the knowing of your kids. If one of the kids is sitting down all the time, fine, reading, writing, doing whatever you want, all of a sudden they're acting out. That's when you come up to them and say, is there anything wrong? Do you want to talk? Is there something happening at home? That way, that child is going to know that, hey, they're going to leave an impression. You're going to leave a huge impression on their lives. Because they're going to realize, hey, wait a minute, they really listen, or they're really hearing me, or they know me. So could you imagine if every single time you talk to somebody, you feel that way towards them? You get a pretty good relationship, right? Right into the next segment. Hello? Relationships. Oops, don't read, stop, don't read. Allah? All right. Sorry. Relationships. I wanted to show, thanks to Ehab, I didn't see these, Ehab did them. Relationships come in all sizes, all differences. There was a study, the reason I'm going to tell you about this is it's really important. There's a study by Harlow in the early 50s. What he did was he had a baby monkey. If you know this, just, okay, thank you, just nod. Okay. He had a baby monkey, but he had two mothers. One of them was wire, all wire, with a bottle. And the other one was no bottle, but all fur. Okay? And he wanted to see how connection is important to a living creature. So he put the monkey in the two areas. The monkey had the example of both. Do whatever he wants. He would go to the mother who had the milk. He would drink very quickly and then run to the mother with the blanket. He spent 18 hours a day with the mother on the blanket and less than an hour eating. Right? So what is that telling us? Be soft. Okay? Be soft. Love. Right. Companionship. Okay? Closeness. That's what makes I don't care how old you are, that's what makes every human being grow. Okay? Whether they're babies especially, but even adults, right? We all seek out the companionship. We all seek out friendships. We're so happy to see each other on Sundays. We're so happy to see each other if we see each other in downtown. It's like, yay, right? There's another person that I know in this place, especially in downtown. So keep that in mind when you're actually with the kids. All right? Any questions? No questions? Wow, okay. So basically, again, I'm just going to kind of go real quick over what we just talked about. What you could do is, a lot of times when you are in the Sunday school, while you are building these relationships, allow the kids to say what they need to say. First, I never even asked, does everybody understand English? I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Sorry, because I could try to talk in Arabic. So what you could do is role playing. Huge for kids. They love role playing. Simulations, discussions, different opinions. Now this one is a little bit tricky, okay? Interviews, panels, discussions, debates, workbooks, all those things. Now, why I hesitated? Asking them their opinion. They will, at times, give you a different opinion than what you're looking for. Okay? Now remember, we're trying to connect. We're trying to get a relationship with these kids. So how are you going to respond if they give you an answer like, uh-oh, where did this kid get this answer from? Anybody? How would you respond? That's a good answer, but other kids have already heard the wrong answer. Respect and discuss, but how would you do that? Right. Al? Same thing, right? Ask questions. Find out, is it the fact that the child didn't communicate with you in the same way you wanted? Because sometimes we're looking for a specific answer for us. But the child may not give you your answer, but they're giving their own answer, but it's the same thing, right? But at the same time, they may give a wrong answer. That isn't the same thing. How you answer is vital, okay? Because they may just shy away and say, oh, never opening my mouth again. We've all had kids like that in Sunday, right? They'll just shut, and they will not open, purposely, they will not open it again because they don't want to be embarrassed, especially when you get into the early teens, the sensitive period. So be very careful. The best way to do it is through questioning. It's called just Socratic questioning. It's that you ask them a question, and you hear what their answer, and then you keep going until you're asking them the question so that they'll be able to get the answer on their own without having you push the answer on them, because they're not going to say anything after a while. Right? Sure.
Sometimes we ask what we think are simple, easy questions, like how many commandments are there? And a kid will say there's 11 commandments. And we react shocked and surprised, and maybe even say, how could you not know? And not even controversial things, but really simple things. And that kid will probably never contribute to class again because he's afraid of the next question. He may know the answer, but he's afraid it might be wrong because everything else he knows is wrong. We have to engage these children, especially the ones who really have a lot to learn, who have missed some really important lessons in their childhood. We have to engage them and give them an open, comfortable environment to let us know what they know and what they don't know. It's a pet peeve, I'm sorry.
Okay. Contact. Like we said, very, very important. But on top of just contact, they also have peer contact. Huge, huge. Having peer contact is the most important thing for kids in Sunday school, right? Now, if a child doesn't have that contact at all, but you have the best lessons on earth, oh, your lessons, people line up to hear. if that child cannot make friends, they're not coming again. They will not come again, right? Now, let me see if I just could scroll real quick. Is this one? Okay, what's the first thing the kid does when you say we have a field trip? Where? Who's going? Exactly. It's not what lesson are you going to teach us. They don't care. They don't care what lesson you're going to give them. You can give them in Zimbabwe for all they care, as long as who's going. Tell me who's going first, not what you're going to teach me. They don't care, right? It's a place to build relationships that could be for a lifetime, through friendships, marriages. I met Ehab through Sunday school, right? So it works. Now, how to build that relationship. It's not sitting your child, they come into class and they sit down and you're like, boom. Here's the information, I thought about it, it's a great information, we're gonna do some questioning. I got this. Kid, you are gonna walk out of here being so knowledgeable, you're gonna be able to teach on your own, right? You start with different things for different age groups. For example, icebreakers for the older ones. Tell us something you did this week. Tell us something you're struggling with. Tell us something that you're proud of. How did you do on your tests? Because we all know when their finals are or midterms, right? When their exams are. How did you do in your exams? How did you do in class? How did you do with that problem with that boy in school or that girl in school? Is it okay? Tell us about it. That builds a relationship. Also, I thought of another thing we could do to help the youth is to make them into teams. A lot of times we talk about, oh, we need a welcoming committee, or we need a committee to serve this, or we need a committee to serve this. Unfortunately, the kids kind of get lost in the shuffle. So if you have a team in your class, no one else, is each person in their own class, where they're a welcoming committee or a follow-up committee, where you give responsibility to 2 or 3 kids. Now, not give, but ask for volunteers. If they're volunteering, they're willing to do it. If they're forced, they're not going to do it. Just a basic fact. You cannot force anyone to do it. It has to come from within them. Where the kids welcome new students. And if the students don't come in, guess what? The follow-up team will call them. Hey, well, we didn't see you this Sunday. It'll be more impact on those children when another peer calls them than a tante or an uncle. Right? Tante or uncle means, if a tante or uncle calls you, it means, dum, 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 you're in trouble. Something isn't right, or they're going to lecture you, or why didn't you come, or, right? That's not what we're going to do. So basically what you need to do is have the kids do it. Have the kids follow each other's birthdays. Even the older ones. One group, 2 people, they follow each other's graduations. Who's graduating? Who moved? Who moved? That's huge. Some kids move and have houses and no one goes and visits. Now I'm not talking about the servants. It's a whole other thing. I'm talking about the kids visiting each other. Could you imagine how important it is? Here you are, you move to a new house, everything's still new, everything's still, you have your friends, but how good is it when your friends from church come and visit you? So you could show off your new room, show off your new house, show off the place of pride, right? It'd have a lot more impact. Yes? Am I losing anybody? Okay. All right. So, now, helping kids connect with each other is kind of like teaching what Jesus taught, teaching them that love each other as I have loved you. Not as your teacher is going to tell you. Let it come from them. It's huge that it comes from them. And not again, if a child hesitates and says, I don't really want to do it, it's okay. There has to be a reason. But you don't let go of that child, but you suggest someone else goes with that child. So they become a team. So you don't put them out there by themselves. Okie dokie? All right. Experience. Now, this is a really cute story. A young boy was asked by his father to fill up the car with gas because he was going to go pay for it. The father goes inside, pays for it, comes out. The kid's, God bless you. The kid took the gas, the pump, and Ehab's proud of this picture. Yes. Oh, you wish he took the nozzle into the car. He took the nozzle and he sprayed the car. Okay? It went everywhere but in the gas tank. Right? The one place it did not go into. Right? Okay? You have worked very hard on this one last night to try to find this picture for me. He filled up the car. But unfortunately, he didn't fill where it's supposed to go. Okay. Now, when we say our stories in Sunday school lesson, we need to have the same thing. Okay? Are we getting the kids in the information we're giving them? Is it going into their tank where it could be used later, or is it just all over the room? Are we just talking? Is it hitting anything? Is it hitting any bullseye? That's what you need to ask yourself. Okay? You need to ask yourself, is it going in the tank where it's going to be coming up later for gas, for energy, for information, for fighting, for just not fighting with each other, but fighting against temptations? Is it going where it's supposed to go? You need to ask yourself that, because if it's not going, it's going everywhere. All we're getting is that car just filled up with not where it's supposed to be. Okay, now, think of how your content can especially help your kids. Different age groups are going through different things in their lives. We all know that, right? Elementary school is going through one thing. Middle school, I don't even know what middle schoolers are going through. They're going through something. It's just everything. It's just one big mess. It's a blob of mess these kids are. Then you've got the high schoolers who are going through their own thing. And then you've got the college kids who are going through their own thing. Then you've got the kids who are young professionals trying to find jobs. Josh. Trying to find jobs. All of these, each one has a stage. Each one has the need. As a Sunday school teacher, you're not a cookie cutter teacher. Don't ever think of yourself as a cookie cutter teacher. Okay? Know your audience. Know the kids. Know their needs. Know what it is that they need at that time in their lives. Right? And give it to them. Fill their tank with what it is, the information that they need. Okay. Ask yourself, is it practical in their lives? Are they going to be able to use it? Or is it going to be way over their heads? Do I use simple language? Do I use strong language? Do I use intellectual language? Do I get down and dirty with them? Do I talk to them about stuff that's making me uncomfortable? Right? Adolescence, some topics can be pretty ugly, but it has to be said. Right? Don't mistake the idea with we're raising the children for the family. No, we're not playing the role of the mom and dad. We're playing the addition. We're playing the seasoning for the rest of them. Okay? So it's not the role of mom and dad. We're not going to teach them about things that mom and dad are not comfortable or are comfortable with. We're going to have to teach them where they are at that moment, but it has to be uncomfortable, just a tiny bit for you. You have to step outside your box. I said that earlier. Oh, and that's it. So, so I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that a lot of times to be a Sunday school teacher, it is a huge commitment from all of us. I'm not going to say us, from all of you guys, okay? It's a huge, huge commitment from all of you, and it does take time. It does take energy. It does take effort. It does take a lot out of a person. But the fruit's endless. Absolutely endless. Kids, you see the fruit coming in when they're under stress at school, right? And they use your words, and they come and tell you. Or techniques you have taught them. And they come back and say, you know what? I used what you told me, and it worked, and they love it. That, to me, is the most important thing I know that I have done well with this child. Okay? But to ask a child, okay, rehearse, regurgitate. Got it? Everybody leave. It's hard. It's really, really hard because they're not going to be filled in that gas tank. All we're doing is putting that gas in the car, but not in the car. Okay?